I last promised that we are going to be doing a series on understanding the Bible. And I want to welcome you to join me on this journey today as we begin on with the first session. What is the Bible? Well, here we go with our first series or first episode of our series. Today we're going to be looking at what is the Bible. You could be wondering, really, do we have to define what the Bible is? That is very simple. Anyone can know that, but we really want to unpack the simple things and just talk about them. So the word Bible actually comes from a Greek word called Biblia, which means books, or maybe you could call it a collection of books. So when you look at the Bible, you're actually looking at a collection of books that have been joined together. And so this collection of books has also been divided into main divisions, and those main divisions are two. The first of the divisions is called the Old Testament, and the second one is called the New Testament. And so we want you that as you open the Bible to read it, you actually know what you're looking at and where you're going. I remember when I first had to read the Bible, when I just gotten saved, looking for the book of Romans, and I'm going all the way to the Old Testament. At some time I had to use a table of contents. So this is really a desire for us to be able to understand how to read our Bibles. So when you look at the Old Testament, for it has about 39 books. And again, these 39 books are divided into simpler divisions. The first of the divisions is when you go from Genesis to Deuteronomy. That is the first division, called the books of the law that were written by Moses. Those are the first 5 books. And then the second division is from Joshua up to the book of Esther, which are called the historical books, and these are numbering to about 12 books. And then after them we see Job to Song of Solomon, which are also 5, and these are called the poetic books. And then from then we see Isaiah to Malachi, which are called the prophetic books, and these are numbering to 17. So if you add up 5 plus 12 plus 5 plus 17, you come up with a total of 39 books. And so we see that these 39 books almost have the same message. We see that they're showing us how God is dealing with the people that He had chosen, the people we call the Israelites, or the Hebrews, or even the Jews. And so we are seeing that in the first 5 books, they're written by Moses, and they're showing us how God is delivering the children of Israel from captivity in Egypt, where they were. They're showing us how He gives them the laws they should be following. And then the second division, which are the historical books, they are giving us the history of how now they settle in the promised land where they were supposed to be going, showing us how they had kings and the different kings that reigned over them. And then as you go to the poetic books, you see how different people are worshiping God in poetry, in songs. And then the prophetic, they're showing us how God is speaking to these people, the Israelites, through the prophets. And so all together, this is a message. It's showing us how God is dealing with these people, the Israelites. But also ultimately, we see that these 39 books are pointing to one man, and this man is Jesus Christ, who was going to come and restore righteousness, but also bring salvation to His people, the 39 books. And then the second division is what we call the New Testament, that is made up of 27 books. This is also again divided into other smaller divisions. And the first of them is what we call the Gospels, which are from Matthew up to the book of John. And then we see the other book in between there called Acts, which is what we call the historical book of the New Testament, that is giving us a history of how the apostles are beginning the church and how they served the people. And then you continue on, you see the next is what we are calling the epistles or the letters of Paul. And these begin from the book of Romans until up to the book of Philemon. and they number up to 13 letters. And then the others are what we call the general letters, which are from the book of Hebrews until the book of Jude. And these we see some letters written by Peter, some written by Jude, some by John, about 3 letters there. And then the last book is what we call Revelation, which is the prophetic book of the New Testament, pointing us to the future things and to how the future is going to be when Jesus Christ actually comes back. And so altogether the 27 books, for them, they are pointing back to this one man, Jesus Christ, who had come to restore righteousness and give salvation to his people. So we began by seeing the 39 books of the Old Testament, which are pointing us to the coming of Jesus. And then the 27 books are pointing us back to this Jesus who had come. So altogether, the 66 books are pointing to this one man, Jesus Christ. And so, just to also look at a few facts about the Bible, we see that it is written in a time period of about 1600 years. You can just imagine, 1600 years, and it's written by 40 authors who are in different places, living in different times. But when they write, their message is the same. Their message doesn't contradict. Who of you could find a book of that kind? Just imagine, here staying in Kampala in 2023, I write a letter, and somebody else has also written a letter probably 1,000 years ago in maybe South Africa, and maybe another one in Saudi Arabia has written another letter maybe 2,000 years ago, and when you join them together, they are speaking about the same thing. That is an impossibility, and there is no other book that has that same that is written that same way. Different authors, 40 authors writing in different times, yet their message is the same. That is possible because as they were writing, they were carried along by the Holy Spirit. Just like the writer of 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 21 tells us that all those who wrote, they were writing and they were carried along by the Holy Spirit. But also another thing to look at is that all these authors, 40 authors, they are also coming from different statuses. Some were leaders, some were kings, like Solomon, like David. Some were actually prophets. Some were followers of Jesus, of whom some were fishermen, some were tax collectors. But all of them, God uses them to bring up this book for us. This collection of books that is very helpful for our lives. And so we see that God does not discriminate. If He could use a tax collector, if He could use a fisherman, if He could use a king or leader or a prophet. And actually one of them, who is Paul, writing 13 letters, which is almost a third of the New Testament, 13 letters, was even a murderer. We see all the things he did, but God still used them. So we see that wrapped up in 66 books is a great message that we want to spend some time learning and understanding. I hope that you've gotten something from this. What is the Bible? I look forward to seeing you again in the next episode or the next session as we look at why the 66 books. See you then. God bless you.